This is the gaming channel, and here I am again, finally, with another video. And today we'll be ranking all of the levels in LEGO Star Wars: The Complete Saga. I want to do more videos like this, to be honest. It'd be good to do more tier lists, and I've even considered making a channel just dedicated to it. I mean, whether I'll actually do that, I don't know, but you never know. It's an idea. May as well get into it, haven't we? May as well get into it. So, you may have noticed as well that I've changed the grades. Instead of S, we've got
the chosen one.
A.
Force is strong in this one.
B.
You'll find I'm full of surprises.
C.
There's always a bigger fish.
And D.
You in big doo-doo this time.
Credit goes to this user here for creating the tier list. Let's get down to it. The first level we've got is Negotiations, the first level of the Phantom Menace. Of course, it's the first level that you play through in the entire game, and it's the one level that you have to play through first. You know, it's a level I do really appreciate. It serves as a bit of a tutorial level as well. It does give you hints throughout the level. If you're playing the game for the first time, it's just a way of getting used to all the controls and the gameplay. I know that in the first room you can use the force to make the chairs dance and the Mos Eisley Cantina theme plays, and then you use the force on that door to break it apart, and then you hear that droid over the intercom, you know, saying intruder alert, intruder alert. But yeah, I just find it really cool. It's a short one, but it kind of makes sense. It's not that long a segment in the Phantom Menace. At the same time, it's only the first level too, so I guess it kind of makes sense that it's not that long. And it's one of my favourites. There's a few differences between the LEGO Star Wars the video game version and the Complete Saga version of the level. In the second section, you can actually build a stap that you see the droids ride in the Phantom Menace, which is cool because then you get to control it yourself and wreak havoc, I suppose, which you don't get to do in the original LEGO Star Wars the video game. There's a few other little changes here and there. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there are. It's an enjoyable level, one of my favourites. Short and sweet, I'd say. See, I don't think I'd put it in the chosen one. Oh god, this is difficult. Is it A or is it B? I'm going to put it in A. I'll put it in A for now. Right, so next we have Invasion of Naboo. Probably not one of my favourite levels, but it's definitely not a bad level. It's not at the bottom, and it's not in the levels which I would rather not replay if I didn't have to. The start in the forest is cool, again with the soundtrack. I like how you can use the force on the trees to stand them back up, I suppose, because they're sort of, you know, they've been toppled. And then just after you trigger the cutscene with Jar Jar, then you're able to start playing as Jar Jar, which is good because he can jump really high, and that allows you to get objects that are too high for Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan to get. I mean, unfortunately, that's all Jar Jar can do. He can't even attack, but I suppose he can at least jump high. You need Jar Jar again to be able to progress to the final section of the level. By no means a bad level. I don't think I'd personally rate it as highly as Negotiations. I don't think I enjoy it quite as much as that. I'll still get some entertainment out of it though. I think we'll put it in B. We'll put it in B. I think if it was C, I don't know, it would be, I guess, sort of like average mediocre maybe. I think I'll put it in B. I'll put it in B for now. You'll find I'm full of surprises. Next we've got Escape from Naboo. It's another fun level in my opinion. It's a longer level than the previous two. You get to control a few more characters, or at least in certain sections of the level. It starts with an entertaining cutscene. It's the first time you get to control a blaster wielding character. You can grapple up to higher spots. There's a puzzle section you have to complete to progress. Again, not one of my favourites. I think I'd put it maybe above Invasion of Naboo. And then we've got Mos Espa Pod Race. So this level is short. It's not like the other ones where you can sort of do it at your own pace. With this one, it's, you know, it's a race. It's a pod race. It's fast and dangerous, like Qui-Gon said.
Very fast, very dangerous.
There is a difference between this one and the original version in LEGO Star Wars the video game. One of the main differences I can remember is that the Complete Saga version doesn't have a timer anymore, so you're not under pressure to get to the next section of the level before the timer runs out, and then you have to start that section again from the checkpoint. It's easier in that sense, I suppose. There isn't that pressure, but I prefer the original. I prefer the timer being there, so that it at least makes the level take a bit longer, perhaps, because it's already a short level anyway. It's got a few cutscenes of the pod race itself, which are faithful to the film, and the one at the start, which is funny, with Obi-Wan going, Because I still enjoy it, but I think I do prefer the original version with the timer. I think I'm honestly going to put it here, behind these two. A bit torn again, but that's where I'll put it for now. Next, we've got Retake Theed Palace. It's a longer level too. It might be longer than Escape from Naboo, actually. We get to play as more characters as well. It's quite a detailed level, quite a few different areas to explore, a few secret rooms here and there, more puzzles to solve, more puzzle variety, I guess. It's a good level. Quite a few different sections, bigger rooms. Honestly, I'll have to put it above all of these, I think. Onto the final level of the Phantom Menace, which is Darth Maul. Definitely one of my favourite levels in the game. Like Negotiations. You can't forget the soundtrack either, Duel of the Fates, iconic. It's got a few different sections. These sections are decent size as well, I'd say. That first section has a secret room at the top, which is cool. A whole other room. Hear a battle droid say Roger Roger, which is funny.
Roger, 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 Roger.
It puts a fun, unique spin on the level compared to how it plays out in the film. You've got the cutscene at the start, which is cool, and even with the choreography, briefly showing the fight, and at the end, when Maul kills Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and Maul have a little fight, and then Obi-Wan jumps up and kills Maul, and then there's a funny part in the background after Obi-Wan goes to Qui-Gon and you see Maul's legs dancing a little bit, and then Qui-Gon just dies suddenly. Now the question is though, do I put it in A or S? That's the thing. Do I put it in the Force is Strong with this one, or do I put it in the Chosen one? It's a top tier level, I will say that. Stuff it, I'm going to put it in S tier, the Chosen one. That's the end of the Phantom Menace now. On to Episode 2, Attack the Clones, and the first one is Bounty Hunter Pursuit, a level which was originally cut from Lego Star Wars video game, but was brought back for the Complete Saga, so that Attack the Clones has 6 levels like the rest. Unfortunately, a level wasn't missed in Lego Star Wars video game, and you can see why in the Complete Saga. It's definitely one of the worst levels. It's based off the scene where they're chasing Zam Wessel through Coruscant. It's pretty boring, really. It's just flying through a bunch of different areas in Coruscant, chasing Zam Wessel, I suppose, and you know, you can destroy objects here and there to get collectibles and whatnot. It's bad. I think it's one of the worst levels in the game. And then you've got the boss fight with Zam Wessel at the end, which is pretty boring too. You just have to keep shooting her, essentially. Shooting her ship. There's no creativity to the boss fight. I guess the level doesn't feel that creative either. I suppose it recreates the environments you see in the film, in that scene. Disappointing though, really. It's definitely going in D tier or whatever you want to call it. Also known as...
You saw a big doo-doo this time.
Right, next we've got Discovery on Kamino. Now, this was, of course, was originally the first level in Lego Star Wars video game. Now it's the second level in Complete Saga. Based off the scene in the film, Kenobi's on Kamino. He's not doing much action-wise until he fights Jango Fett, but in this level, gets creative, I suppose, based off the scene that it has to work with. It's fun, it's entertaining, it's humorous. Obi-Wan going around in the cutscenes, acting like a joke in a sense, with the way he's portrayed, and it's funny to see. Looking at his facial expressions, he's got no clue what's going on. All the environments you see, a few extra rooms as well, which is always nice for replayability. It is a really replayable level. It's a decent length too, decent amount of action as well, with some new enemies created for the game, so that spices things up a bit. And then we come to the infamous disco room, where you can get the Kaminoans dancing on the dance floor, busting some moves. Great to just hear that remix of the Star Wars theme. I think in the Complete Saga version, for some reason, I don't think that theme plays for that long, and I don't think the whole theme plays at once. Like, I know in the original version of the level in Lego Star Wars the video game, I think the theme just keeps playing on loop. Don't know why personally they changed that in the Complete Saga. Don't like that change, but there you go. And then for the rest of the level, you're chasing Jango Fett to his ship, which culminates in a cool fight where you're having to dodge the blaster fire from Slave 1. You can't even use R4 to use the turrets to shoot at Slave 1, so it distracts Boba from shooting at you. Trying to deal with Jango, forces rockets back at him, and chase him around at the end, which is funny, to try and get a final hit on him. One of the best boss fights. It's got a really memorable section with the disco room. It's just a fantastic level, to be honest. I think it's honestly up there with Darth Maul, and we'll just put it there for now, so that's where it's going. On to the next one. So we've got Droid Factory. This level is good. New enemies, I suppose, again with the Geonosians, a bunch of different puzzles which are new, which we haven't seen before. Bunch of bonus rooms again. There's a difference where you have to rescue Obi-Wan at the end. I mean, we know he gets captured there when he goes to investigate in the film, but it just ends with him having to deflect blaster fire from droidekas and the transmission cuts out. That's how it ends there, but you have to rescue him at the end. I guess it's just an excuse for a final objective, I guess, to rescue Obi-Wan. But then, you know, once they rescue Obi-Wan, they all get captured with Jango showing up, which is, you know, originally it was just Anakin in the Droid Factory. It's probably going to be in B. I'll probably put it here for now, I think. I'll put it there. On to the fourth level, and we have Jedi Battle. You get to play as Mace Windu for the first time. It's actually the only time you get to play as Windu in a level in this game. You get to see loads of different Jedi fighting the droids. There's loads of characters on screen, and it doesn't affect the performance. You get different waves of battle droids, I suppose, that you have to defeat, you know, different types of battle droids and also super battle droids, droidicas. You have to rescue Anakin, Obi-Wan and Padme. Gets topped off with a boss fight with Django again at the end, which I guess is not technically as impressive as how it was done in the Camino level. It's sort of like a rehash of that, but just in the Geonosian arena instead. Not one of my favourites, but it's not bad. I'll probably put it at the bottom of B, I think. The bottom of You'll Find Full of Surprises. Yeah, I don't know whether it'd go in C. I'm not sure whether it's... I don't know. We'll put it there for now. Right, so then we've got Gunship Cavalry. This is probably one of my least favourite levels, but it's probably one of the best of the worst. They did actually, I'd say, improve this level compared to the original, in a sense, because the camera is behind you the whole way, instead, unlike in Lego Star Wars video game, where the camera is sort of an aerial view and your ship is on the left too, and the camera keeps moving forward, so you're kind of being pushed forward, so you can't really go at your own pace, I guess, like with the pod race level. But in the Complete Saga you can. I guess you get to see the level from a new angle. There's extra details in the level that have been added. It's just a pretty boring level. The cutscenes don't really have much to offer. It's a somewhat boring level. It's still definitely better than Bounty Hunter Pursuit. I think I'll put it in C. I'll put it in C tier for now. Right, so then we've got the final level of Attack the Clones, which is Count Dooku. It's different to the Darth Maul level in the sense that it is shorter. But again, you know, they work with what they have based off the scene. You're sort of chasing Dooku a little bit first, I guess. You know, he's going into different rooms. And then you're having to destroy battle droids and Geonosians, a bit of platforming to get into the final room, which is a big wide open space, and then that's where the final boss battle occurs. The cutscenes have some humour here and there and are entertaining. The Force lightning looks better than it did in the original, I believe, and the sound effects different, so it looks like it did in Lego Star Wars 2 against Sidious against the Emperor. And they use the Force to send objects flying at you as well. You have to force back at him. Halfway through, you get the cutscene. Dooku defeats Anakin, and that's the difference from the film. You know, he doesn't defeat Obi-Wan because you need to have two characters to play, so it's Obi-Wan and Yoda instead of just Yoda. There's a bunch of collectibles in that room as well because it is the biggest room in the level. The annoying thing about it though is if you go a certain distance from Dooku, for example, all of a sudden he'll just jump right over to you and attack you and take a life off you or whatever, which is annoying when you're trying to... I know you've got to, you know, sort of focus on the boss fight, but it'd be good if that didn't happen, to be honest, because there's a bunch of collectibles you can get and he's just jumping all over the place at you, so that is a downside. And just the fact I think there's not much to it either too. I don't think it's quite as perhaps innovative as the Darth Maul level. It's a somewhat good boss fight, I suppose. It has some good cutscenes. It doesn't quite live up to the Darth Maul level, so for now we'll put it in between, I think, Droid Factory and Escape from Naboo, I think. Yeah, that's where we'll put it for now. That's 2 episodes down, and on to Revenge of the Sith. We've got Battle over Coruscant, the first level. And again, that is one of my favourites. It's the first level in space. I just really enjoy it. It's short, but at the same time, it is linear. You can only go in one direction, and your starfighter just keeps moving throughout the entire level anyway, so you can only really control whether it goes up or down and left to right, I think. The advantage with the Complete Saga version of the level is you get to hear the Revenge of the Sith soundtrack, which you didn't get to hear in the original Lego Star Wars. It doesn't outstay its welcome either. Where would I put it? Yeah, we'll put it there for now. Put it there, A tier. Next, we've got Chancellor in Peril, and one of my favourite levels again. Starts with a funny cutscene with Obi-Wan falling over again, looking like an idiot, like he's portrayed to be in these games. Interestingly, you sort of see Grievous at the end of the corridor at the start. There's a few collectibles in that first section as well, in that first room, and then you have to defeat a bunch of droids, break open the door, go into the next section, and you get to face some battle droids as well. Creative environments. The middle of the level essentially is where you face Dooku. It's sort of like a mini boss fight, really, I guess, because of course usually the boss fights are at the end of the level, but in this case that scene, it sort of falls in the middle. Starts with a cool cutscene, ends with a cool cutscene. You get to face a few super battle droids as well, which makes sense. And then you get the final section where you finally meet Grievous and you have to face his bodyguards for the first time. And I guess it's the only time actually we have to face them. Face a bunch of droids again, and ends with a funny cutscene too. I think an entertaining level provides the full package essentially. The boss fight, of course, it's not as long, but it's still a boss fight. It's decent. I forgot to mention there's that section as well where you're running away from the, I don't know, it's meant to be a lift or whatever that's coming towards you as well, so that's cool. I enjoyed the level. It's one of my favourites. I mean, I know I said it has the full package, but I just don't know whether it's S tier. I feel like I should put it in S, but I'm going to put it in A for now. Anyway, on to the next one, which is General Grievous, which again is one of the shortest levels. It's another level dedicated to a boss battle, except this time it's halfway through Revenge of the Sith in terms of the levels. The level starts and ends with the boss battle. The whole thing is just the boss battle against him. Like, you see his hearts the whole time. You have that amount of hearts to take off him, and there's different ways you have to do it, which is different as well, to be fair. I appreciate that. But the main part of it is just fighting him on the platform, taking a few hearts off him, and then he jumps up to a higher area, and then you have to use Commander Cody, who's with you, because you have to have 2 characters. And I guess Cody was with him on Utapau, so that makes sense. You have to destroy a few canisters to take a heart off him, then jumps back down to the platform. You fight him again, rinse and repeat. Again, it's just an enjoyable level. It's creative again in terms of the boss fight, even though it's short, and what you have to do in the boss fight, I guess, compared to maybe the previous ones. I'll put it above Count Dooku for now, I think. Yeah. On to the next one, which is Defense of Kashyyyk. Again, you know, I do like the level. It's a longer one too. Again, I guess they had to sort of create a level based off of what we see on Kashyyyk, which is not a whole lot really. It's quite different basically to what we see in the film. It's the second time he gets to play as Yoda. You get to spend more time playing as him. He gets to play as Chewie as well, essentially having to sort of fight both the droids and the clones, which is interesting. There are those walkers that the clones use as well, which you have to fight, which is different. That's a new enemy type. I think I'll probably put it in B tier again. Probably going to put it in between, I think. Actually, no, I'm going to put it above General Grievous. Yeah, I'll put it there. Right, so then we've got Ruin of the Jedi. Again, this is kind of like a whole new level created. Interestingly, the start of the level is actually kind of based on a deleted scene from Revenge of the Sith, where you have the clones disguising themselves as Jedi. You have to fight in this level. It's not that long a level, but I do enjoy it. You actually get to go in the Jedi Temple, explore a bit of it. You get to go into the Jedi Council chamber. There's some platforming here and there, puzzles, and then it ends with another deleted scene, I guess, with Anakin killing Shakti, which is it's one of the most, I suppose, graphic and brutal Lego cutscenes in a way, really, with the way Anakin kills Shakti. But again, you know, it's an enjoyable level. Not one of my favourites necessarily, but it's not that long either. Interesting cutscenes too. Honestly, actually, now I think about it, I think I might put Jedi Battle in C above Gunship Cavalry. I was going to put this in C, possibly. I don't know to put it at the bottom of B, though. I'll put it in the bottom of B for now. Then we have Darth Vader. So, again, this is one of my favourite levels. It's short, but it's fast-paced. Start, you're having to run away from the floor beneath you being consumed by lava. You know, you're having to sort of work with Anakin or work with Obi-Wan, depending on who you play as. Provides puzzles with countdowns. You have to be quick to get to the next room, otherwise you have to start again. There's always something you have to run away from. You can't really do this level at your own pace either. The cutscenes are delight to watch. You get something which you don't get in any of the other levels, where at the end you have to fight your partner. You've only got a certain amount of time to defeat them as well, because the platform that you're on is falling apart because of the lava. If you defeat Obi-Wan as Anakin, the start of the cutscene is slightly different. I think you see Anakin disarm Obi-Wan, whereas if you defeat Obi-Wan, then you just see the rest of that cutscene. It's always a pleasure to hear Battle of the Heroes. It's quite unique again and creative in what it does, and introduces a concept which isn't present in any of the other levels. I think it's got to be in the Chosen One, to be honest, which would make sense. It's apt considering Anakin is in the level. I'm going to put it in the Chosen One, but where? I think I'm going to put it at the bottom of the Chosen One. I don't know for now. Now we move on to the original trilogy and Secret Plans. First level of A New Hope. This is a good level. It's a longer one because a lot of the levels in the original trilogy are longer anyway. You get to play as blaster wielding characters instead of mostly playing as lightsaber wielders. Some more unique puzzles, using a crane for the first time to have to lift a character, getting to see Vader choke a bunch of rebels. I think we'll put Secret Plans. I don't know how to put it above Retake Theed Palace. We'll put it at the top of A for now. We'll put it, top of B, sorry. Now we're on to the second level of A New Hope, and it is Through the Jundland Wastes. I quite enjoy this level as well. One of the better replayable levels. First time you get to play as Ben Kenobi, and also Luke, but of course he doesn't have a lightsaber yet. He only has a blaster, but I think he can attack with his fists as well. It's got a lot of bonus areas, double score zones, which I forgot to mention. The environments are cool. Of course, it's on Tatooine, the Jundland Wastes. Enemies are Tuskens this time, and I suppose you've got Jawas as well, who are only really a nuisance to R2 and 3PO to the droids because they can stun them. And in the last section of the level, you do get to repair Luke's land speeder. I mean, again, I don't know that it's one of my favourites, even though I do quite like it, and I would rate it highly. I know I've got a lot of levels in the B tier, but I think I'm going to have to put it in the B tier again, and I think I'm going to probably put it at the top of B tier, above Secret Plans. I think they're on a similar level, I'd say, those two. so I'll just put it at the top for now. There we go, thank you. Then we have Mos Eisley Spaceport. Now this is a good level. It's one I've got a fair amount of nostalgia for as well. Now that I think about it, I just remember playing it a lot as a kid when I used to go on LEGO Star Wars 2 all the time on the PS2. It was a level I'd often go back to. It's cool to explore Mos Eisley, the spaceport, and getting to go in the cantina. I think it's just the layout of the level too, and what you're able to build and all the secret areas. It's a level where you get to play as quite a few characters too. You get to play as Ben Kenobi, Luke, Han, Chewie, 3PO and R2. You get a funny and entertaining recreation of the Mos Eisley Cantina scene as well, halfway through the level. There's a bonus room where there's a cinema where you can watch the trailer, one of the trailers for LEGO Star Wars the video game. You get to ride the dewbacks. When you jump off them, you sort of go flying high into the air, which helps because you need to do that at one point to actually get up to a higher area. Han has to be one of my favourite characters to play as well. He's just so... his abilities are just so smooth, and it's just satisfying to see the way he puts his gun away as well. Imperial Spy is the boss at the end of the level 2. They keep calling sand troopers to come down. You have to defeat. You just have to try and get 3 hits on the Imperial Spy when you can. They can't attack you, so they're just running away the whole time pretty much. It's one of the weaker boss fights, but overall as a level, I do rate it highly as well, like Through the Jundland Wastes, and I might actually put it higher than that. So it might go into the A tier. Yeah, I honestly think I'm going to put it in the A tier at the bottom. So then we're going to rescue the princess. This level is also a special one. Is it this one or is it the following one? Well, this level is a strong one too. First level on the Death Star, fair bit to it. You get to roam the Death Star corridors. You get to disguise Luke and Han as stormtroopers. They're already wearing the armor except for the helmets. Then you get to use the helmet dispensers, so you can more easily get through sections with stormtroopers and perhaps avoid having to fight them. That stays true to the film. And then the level ends where you end up rescuing Princess Leia. We get a humorous recreation of the scene where they rescue Leia in the final cutscene. Midway through the level, Obi-Wan goes off on his own. At some point after, we get to see Obi-Wan defending himself against a group of stormtroopers. You have to help him out, I guess, defeat the stormtroopers, so then he can deactivate the tractor beam. I think I'm going to put it in between Jundland Wastes and Secret Plans, I think, for now. Then we had Death Star Escape, which I think that has to be one of my favourite levels too. You get to explore more of the Death Star. There's one segment where you're chasing after this stormtrooper. You have to get through a bunch of blast doors, and then once the final blast door opens, there's a massive group of stormtroopers waiting for you, which was just cool, and it's funny to see as well. That was always a pleasure to see as a kid. I know there's a segment earlier on in the level where you see 2 stormtroopers cleaning a window and you can mess around and move the platform that they're on. There's quite a few segments where there's a lot of stormtroopers that keep coming down, you have to fight off. It can be a bit of a nuisance at times, to be fair, when you're trying to do things and then, I don't know, you've got a helmet on and the stormtrooper helmet on and then a stormtrooper shoots it off, so then you have to go back to the dispenser and get another one so you can access the stormtrooper control panel to open the door to get to the next section. There's a lot of that, a lot of, like I say, fighting off stormtroopers and then having to close blast doors to stop them from coming and interrupting what you're doing. At the end, you get to see Ben Kenobi fighting Vader. The cutscene at the end is a highlight. You could argue while some of the gameplay segments are more challenging and a bit of a nuisance, it's part of the fun as well. It makes the level one of the more challenging ones. I'd say it's one of my favourite levels. It's very fun and also challenging. And again, it has one of the most memorable segments in a LEGO Star Wars game. I think I've got to rank this one highly. Would I put it above Mos Eisley Spaceport? Okay, I'm going to put it above Battle Over Coruscant. I think that's where it's going to go. Right, and then we've got the final level of Episode 4, Rebel Attack, which, of course, is based off the assault on the Death Star. And yeah, it's a space battle level, and unfortunately, it is one of the weakest levels, which is a problem, really, with all the space battle levels in the original trilogy. They're all pretty weak. They just don't have much to offer. I feel like gameplay-wise, it's just not as fun flying around in a ship and destroying things, and they're not levels I really wanted to replay as a kid. The trench run section at the end it's okay, but I think they could have done more with it. They could have perhaps made it a bit maybe longer and a bit more epic like it was in the film. I think a lot of these space battle levels in LEGO Star Wars 2 and the Complete Saga they lack the thrills and excitement that you get from watching those scenes in the films themselves. Is it better than Bounty Hunter Pursuit? I guess it's better than Bounty Hunter Pursuit. I think I honestly would rather play Gunship Cavalry than Rebel Attack. It's going to go at the bottom, I think above Bounty Hunter Pursuit. But anyway, we move on to the Empire Strikes Back now. The first level of that and Hoth Battle, unfortunately, as we start with another vehicle level, but it's not in space this time. And yeah, this is a pretty weak level too, to be honest. A bit of a frustrating one at the time as well with the gameplay. The segments, it's one of the more challenging levels. For example, at the end, you find yourself doing an objective that's a bit of a faff and takes a bit longer than you'd like. You're having to pull around those bombs all the time. That's annoying because then you can get them caught on things and they end up blowing something else up that you don't want to blow up. Considering it's based off what is considered to be an iconic scene in The Empire Strikes Back, which is at the start of the film, the Battle of Hoth, it just fails to live up to that. Okay, you do get to at least wrap the wire round the 80 to get it to fall over. The segment at the end is frustratingly long too. I think at times you're trying to really find certain enemies, the last remaining enemies that you have to destroy. It's not a fun time. I think I'd honestly still put it above Rebel Attack and Bounty Hunter Pursuit. It's probably still going to go in the D tier. On to the second level of Empire Strikes Back, and this is one of the stronger ones. Escape from Echo Base, definitely, from the soundtrack to... I mean, this level has more corridors, more enclosed environments. You get to build a turret to blast some snowtroopers, and there's some fascinating bonus rooms as well. I think get to the top of the base, and you're sort of in what looks like a snow globe. Yeah, it's a good level. I think I'm going to put it in between Rescue the Princess and Secret Plans. Then we have Falcon Flight, again, unfortunately, another space level. It just feels like a bit of a chore again, this level, like the other space battle levels. I mean, you do get to go into, I think, is it a bonus section where you get to go in the mouth of that massive space slug and get back out, which I guess is one of the better parts of it. It doesn't help that levels like these are longer too than they were in the prequel trilogy. I don't know if it's going to go above or below Hoth Battle. It's probably going to go above the other two. Yeah, we're going to put it above Hoth Battle, I think. Actually, I think I'd honestly put Rebel Attack above Hoth Battle as well, because Hoth Battle just, like I say, has those frustrating segments. Then we have Dagobah. To be fair, that is, I think, one of my favourite levels too. It's got a different atmosphere to it. You're playing as Luke and R2 first. While Luke has a lightsaber, he can't use the Force yet. Enemies only consist of bats and a big sort of water snake, or whatever you want to call it. I suppose you could say it's a bit of an eerie level. It has that sort of creepiness and scariness about it. And then halfway through the level you meet Yoda and he starts training Luke at that point. At that point you get to play as Yoda too, but if you have Yoda on Luke's back, then Luke can start using the Force, which makes sense because Luke's still training to use the Force. I suppose it's a way of showing that Luke is still training. He's still sloppy at using the Force. I like the cave section too. The cave's actually a decent size, to be fair. And then at the end of the cave you get to finally face Vader, the vision of Vader. I don't know whether you could say that was a mini boss fight. I mean, Vader does have about 8 hearts, but it's not that long a boss fight though. It's just in the same area and there's a bit of repetition. Then when you defeat him, he just disappears, which makes sense considering he's meant to be a vision, so that's a change. And then the gate opens and you can get back out of the cave, and you're trying to use the Force to raise the X-Wing at the end. If you're playing as Luke, he won't come out, which makes sense because in the film it doesn't. But if you change to Yoda, then the X-Wing starts to come out of the water and then the cutscene plays and boom. Again, it has humorous cutscenes and it's a fun time. I think it's got to go in 8 here at least. I think it's going to go in between Death Star Escape and Battle of Crossing. Right, so then we've got Cloud City Trap. This is one of my favourite levels as well. It's a boss fight level. R2 wasn't originally in the fight, but of course, got to have 2 characters and R2 was with him, so it makes sense. I think each section of the boss fight has Vader with at least 8 hearts. The first part being in the carbon freezing chamber, and then you're sort of chasing him for the rest of the level. There's a room where you have the second boss fight with Vader. He's got 10 hearts this time. And it's a bit of rinse and repeat again. And the next room is a smaller room, but it's a bit of a short segment, I suppose. And then onto the final section of the level, which we see in the film, following Vader, fighting him a bit, and then taking a certain amount of hearts off him, and then there's the final bit on the bridge. And the cutscene at the end is one of the more memorable ones too. It's a fitting Lego recreation of that scene, even using a bit of prequel content in there too, so that adds to the humour. It's up there, frankly, one of the best levels in the game. I think I might honestly put it at the bottom of S tier, I think. Yeah, or at least I'll put it there for now. Right, now we're on to the final level of Empire Strikes Back. It's not the longest, but it is good, I suppose. You get a mini boss fight with Boba Fett, who's running away from you for a bit, pursuing him, and then of course he gets away in the Slave One with Han, and then you have to go backtrack a bit, and try and escape yourself. And the Millennium Falcon gets to control quite a few characters, play as Lando for the first time. You get to see Cloud City citizens running about, quite a few stormtroopers to fight. It's a decent time. I suppose it's not necessarily one of the best, but it's not one of the worst. The story mode version of the level, you do get to rebuild C-3PO. I think it's going to go in B or C. It probably deserves to go in B somewhere, probably towards the bottom though, now I think about it. I think it's going to go in between Droid Factory and Defense of Kashyyyk. Yeah, I think that's where we'll put it. Yeah, So that's the Empire Strikes Back done. And on to the last one. Well, the last episode, Return of the Jedi, but we've still got a few more levels after that. So we've got Jabba's Palace. You start out outside the palace at first, but then you get to explore the palace. You get to use thermal detonators for the first time. You know, actually get a taste of bounty hunter abilities, because you get to use the Boosh helmet dispenser, which essentially sort of completes Leia's bounty hunter disguise. So you meet Luke later on in the levels. You get to play as Luke too, as well as Leia and Chewie. Using thermal detonators is fun, getting to blow stuff up. A new enemy type in the form of Gamorrean guards, who are a bit tougher to defeat, take a few more hits, and can defend themselves too. You can ride those Omar monks as well that you see. Those the spider things are walking. You get to build those like radios or boom boxes or whatever as well, which play. Is it like a heavy metal version? Is it of the Imperial March? Is it called Imperial Rage or something? So that's called here anyway, and it makes all the Gamorreans dance, so it's a way of actually distracting them so you can get through the level and get past them perhaps without having to fight them. You find Han in Carbonite, and then it ends with the Rancor boss battle. I think for now I'm going to put it second in the B tier. On through the Jundland Wastes. Next we have the Great Pit of Carcoon, also a level I've played a lot. I think it's just one of those iconic scenes really from Return of the Jedi, along with the soundtrack. You can build those turrets and use those turrets to kill enemies and so on. You get another mini boss fight with Boba Fett, get onto Jabba's Cell Barge, get to explore that a bit, that's fun. It also has another disco room, so it's the original trilogy's disco room. That's another highlight of, the Complete Saga, I suppose, and the LEGO Star Wars games, and the level itself. Cutscene at the start has a funny spin as well, compared to the film. Yeah, I think I'll probably put it just above Jabba's Palace. Yeah, put it there, I think. Then we have Speeder Showdown, which, again, it's one of the weaker levels, I think. Still, I'd say probably better than a bunch. Well, actually, yeah, probably better than all of the original trilogy space battle levels, pretty much. It's a mixture of playing as Luke and Leia and also using the speeders, which is somewhat, I guess, exhilarating and captures the speed, I suppose, of the speederboat chase in the film. I suppose Luke Skywalker in his Endor gear is one of my favourite looking characters in the game. The speederbike chase segments they're okay. It's an okay level. It's probably going to go in the C tier, to be honest. It's pretty close between, I think, that and Jedi Battle, so I think it's going to go in between. Then we've got the Battle of Endor. We have the Ewok village at the start. There's quite a lot you can do there, and you can build. You can use that launcher, which launches rocks that can destroy things and barriers that are in your way. You can control ATSTs again. The start and ending cutscenes are a good laugh. It's not one of my favourites, but it's kind of in the middle again. I think I'm going to put this one in between Rescue the Princess and Escape from Echo Base. Probably. Again, there's certain ones where I'm thinking, should I change them around? I might do later on, we'll see. Anyway, so then we're on to Jedi Destiny. Again, one of my favourite levels. Again, it's a boss fight level. Of course, they changed things up though, which is cool to see. The starting cutscene jumps to the Emperor electrocuting Luke straight away, and then Vader gets in the way. That's a way for the Sidious boss fight to begin, so it's Luke and Vader versus Sidious, so you actually get to play as a dark side character for a change, which is cool. So then you can take advantage of Vader's dark side abilities, which Luke can't use. And yeah, you have to have two characters, so it makes sense, it's quite different to the film, but it's a cool twist. The soundtrack's glorious. I love the environment, the throne room. I mean, the boss fight itself takes place in the same area, but it's a big area, it's a big room. The execution of the boss fight is great as well. Sidious has the most hearts of any boss, I suppose. After a bunch of the segments, you have to fight two of his royal guards who are tougher. They take a few hits to defeat. I think it's like 3 or 4. The lightning floor panel segment is creative and unique. You have to do different things puzzle-wise to get to Sidious using both characters. Basically ends where, Vader picked up Sidious and threw him down the Death Star reactor shaft. So let's put it... we'll probably put it in S tier. Yeah, it's going to go there for now, I think. It's pretty... They're on pretty much the same level, I think, Darth Maul, Darth Vader and Jedi Destiny. Then we have the last level of Return of the Jedi, which is another space battle. Probably one of the better ones, I suppose. I guess the most memorable part is when you're actually going into the Death Star itself, into the second Death Star, and then when you have to escape, like you see in the film, which is a bit more exciting with the soundtrack too. The part with where you're actually in the generator room itself is a bit, or the reactor core, whatever room, it's a bit of a faff. Best part is arguably, like I said, the last bit when you're escaping from the exploding Death Star. I guess it's just a bit more fast-paced and recaptures the scene from Return of the Jedi. It's still not particularly good, but it has, like I say, a few redeeming qualities, I suppose. It's probably going to go in between, I think, Speed of Showdown and Gunship Cavalry. That's all of the 6 episodes done, but there is a bonus room with original versions of levels and a few other levels, basically. So the first one is the original version of the pod race, so the one we get to play in Lego Star Wars video game. I'd sort of put this and the Lego Star Wars video game version into one. You know, it's my favourite version of the level, really, the way it's done. I don't know, I just find it sort of more exciting, exhilarating, like the pod race in the Phantom Menace itself. The scene, which is one of the highlights of the film, in my opinion, and one I really take pleasure in watching. The countdown just injects a bit more of a challenging aspect to the level, so you're under a bit more pressure to get to the next segment before the timer runs out, and makes it last that little bit longer. I'm probably going to put it just above Battle Over Coruscant, I think. Then we've got Anakin's Flight, which was a level that was cut from Lego Star Wars the video game. Anakin's Flight, you know, would have been one of the last levels of the Phantom Menace, but we do finally get to play it here. Because it is, I guess, one of the best space battle levels. I don't think it's that long. I mean, you know, it's cool to be able to explore the inside of the Trade Federation droid control ship. It is cool seeing the top of the droid control ship and the inside and how, sort of, I guess, how detailed it looks. I think because it's quite short as well, I think I'll probably put it at the top of the bottom, I suppose. Top of D tier. Probably, I think. So then we have the original version of Gunship Cavalry, perhaps the weakest level of Lego Star Wars video game. And yeah, it's not a particularly strong level in the Complete Saga either. It's quite short. Of course, it didn't help also the camera angle and the fact that the camera's always moving forward, so you have to keep moving forward as well. There's not much to the level, and the cutscenes don't really have much to offer either, I suppose. They're kind of short. Again, they don't have any sort of the Lego charm or humour. Honestly, I mean, apart from that camera angle being a problem, it's still kind of okay. So I might honestly put it at the bottom of C, I think, next to the Complete Saga version. Then we've got A New Hope, so this is the bonus level that you unlock by getting True Jedi or the Super Kit piece in all of the levels in Lego Star Wars video game. It's the first time where you're able to play as dark side characters, and it happened in the first Lego game, well, the first Lego game by TT Games. Able to play as Vader and a Stormtrooper, although I think there might be a twist in this version of the level. I think it is changed to playing as Vader from Lego Star Wars 2, I believe, and having that fighting style rather than playing as the Anakin Skywalker version of Vader with that fighting style. I think the Stormtrooper is pretty much like the Stormtrooper from Lego Star Wars 2 as well, rather than the Stormtrooper you get in Lego Star Wars video game. It's a short level, but it's fun. You actually get to rescue C-3PO and use him as well, so then you can get to Leia at the end. There are a few harder puzzles in the level which could take a bit more time. I guess it's another short and sweet one, being able to play as evil characters and have some fun with those. And I think because you're able to play as Lego Star Wars 2 Vader in this version of the level instead, you're able to, I think, choke them, whereas in the Lego Star Wars video game, none of the Sith characters could even force choke. Vader, I think, could only use the Force to send them rolling back, and then I think they break into pieces. I guess it kind of makes this version of the level maybe somewhat superior to the original one, I guess. See, I was originally thinking about putting it in C tier, but could maybe go in B, perhaps at the bottom of B. Yeah, I'll put it at the bottom of B, I think. Yeah, I'll put it there. Right, then we've got Lego City and Newtown. You have to get 1 million studs in both Lego City and Newtown. You are timed. It could take a while for you to do, or it depends really. I mean, you know, when you get closer and closer to 1 million, it does get harder and harder to try and actually find something that will get you there, but you can eventually do it. They have some fun elements to them, but yeah, they're fun as well, just being able to ride around in different vehicles. I think I'm going to put them both at the bottom of B, to be fair. I could have put them in C, but I feel like maybe they don't deserve that. Maybe they should be in B. That's my tier list at the moment. However, I might change a few things around. I think I might just make one change. I think I'll just switch Mos Eisley Spaceport and Battle Over Coruscant around. Yeah, okay. I think I'm pretty happy with my tier list now. Yeah, I'd say. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this and other types of gaming content, I suppose. Enjoy the rest of your day, and that is all.